Hi guys, welcome back. We have a fun one today. We are going to be reviewing and we're testing the ILIA Super Serum Skin Tint SPF 40. Okay, so we're gonna just jump right in. We have so much to cover, so I wanted to lay it all out for you. Okay, so I'm gonna be doing reviews in a new way. I'm gonna make it the same every single time so you guys know what to expect and what we're gonna be covering, all of that. So the first thing that I'm gonna be doing is just breaking down the product in general. So this is the product, obviously. This is the ILIA Super Skin Serum Tint with niacinamide, squalane, and hyaluronic acid. It retails for $46 and comes in 1 fluid ounce. This comes in 18 shades, which is much better than a lot of ones out there, especially for kind of a super lightweight tinted moisturizer. And I would say, looking at the range, I'm gonna post that on the screen, that you do get a good breakdown of light, medium, tan, dark. So I'm very happy with that. That said, it's kind of hard to test and match your skin tone to the colors that they have. I think I went through like 3 different ones and this one is still too light, but it's a tricky thing. And I think, well, when I get into the actual wear test and application, you can see, and I'll talk more about that then. Okay, next up, we're going to do ingredient breakdown. This is important for all products, skincare and makeup. But this one has a lot of big claims, so I wanted to go through it pretty thoroughly. The 3 main active ingredients that they say on their website are niacinamide, plant-based squalane, and hyaluronic acid. That is also in addition to the active ingredient, which is the sunscreen, which is zinc oxide at 12%. Okay, so let's go back a little bit though. So they said that those 3 are kind of their hero ingredients, and I wanted to break down the ingredient list. I'm going to list it on the side here so you can see it as well. But the first ingredient is water, which is pretty common. I have no problem with that, but I do think there are some better options out there, but I'll just keep that to myself. And then the next thing we have is squalane, which is also the plant-based one that they talk about. Squalane is an oil that is supposed to help balance your skin and improve elasticity. It's a great ingredient. I love squalane. I use it in my own products, so that's great. Number 2. So I'm going to be listing the top 5 ingredients. And the reason that I do this is because if we know how to read an ingredient list, we know that going from the top down, we're going to have the most percentage to the least. So looking at the top 5, you can go further, but I'm just, for the sake of time, doing the top 5, just so you kind of know what the majority of the product is. So the third ingredient is shea butter ethyl esters, which is a really great ingredient. Shea butter is one of the best butters out there. I'm sure everyone's heard of it, but it can be very thick. It can be very kind of oily feeling. And the reason that they're using ethyl esters is because it gives it a lighter feel, kind of the same properties you get from shea butter, but just in a improved kind of format and delivery. The fourth ingredient is isoamyl laurate. It's a hard one to say. The product name, if you are in the skincare and cosmetic industry, it goes by Dermofeel, which is kind of just the trade name, I guess. This is a natural silicone-like oil, so it's another great one. I use it myself. It also helps bind SPF agents, so I understand why they use it here. The way that it's made is it's an ester of the isoamyl alcohol and then lauric acid. So that's how you get the name. Oh, got something going on with my skin here. So the 5th ingredient is polyglycerol 3. This is a water in oil emulsifier. So this is kind of a jargony thing when you say water in oil or oil in water, but it basically refers to how you emulsify the ingredients in a product. So you have 2 different types of formulations typically. One would be water in oil, which sounds exactly as it is. You're putting water into oil, combining them, emulsifying them. And then you have oil into water. Same thing. Oil goes into the water. The water in oil tends to have a bit of a thicker feel, whereas the oil into water, I think I said that right, is a lighter kind of more lightweight feel. So this one is a little bit of the heavier feel, which makes sense just if you look at the product and feel it itself. So going down the list, you do have a lot of functional ingredients, which is great. They're just things like emollients, surfactants, skin softeners. They're all really great. I've looked through them all and I can say with 100% certainty that this is a really great ingredient list. You also have things like aloe juice powder. Sorry, that was hard to say. There are going to be other ingredients in there that are not just functional, and they actually are going to be helping your skin, give it the serum-y properties and the hydrating feel of it. But one thing I did want to point out is one of the ingredients that they said that is kind of their star of the show, niacinamide, is pretty much in the middle of the list, closer to the top than the bottom. So that is a good thing. That said, just because they say it's the star ingredient or one of the hero ingredients, it doesn't mean that it has to be at the top, because that's not really how formulations work. A lot of the time you have certain levels that you should be using the ingredients at. So for example, hyaluronic acid. For my products, I use it from anywhere 0.1 to 2%, 2% being the highest that I would use it. And over that percent, it actually is not going to really help, and it's going to pill up, it's going to do all these things that basically make it useless in your product. So just keep in mind that more does not always equate to better. The other thing that they talk about, we already covered the plant-based squalane, but the other thing that they cover is hyaluronic acid. They have hyaluronic acid in here as sodium hyaluronate, which is exactly what it is. And they say that they have it at different micro and macro levels, which means high molecular weight and low molecular weight. Personally, I only use high molecular weight, so it has an easier time penetrating the skin and actually doing what it says it's going to be doing. Their claim that they have different levels of higher and lower molecular weight. I mean, technically I think that it's fine, but I think it's a little bit kind of like some marketing jargon there for you, but you know, it's nothing bad. It's not going to hurt your skin, in my opinion. Now, that said, some people do have sensitivities to hyaluronic acid. If you use too much of it, and depending on the weather and your skin type, you can kind of break out from it. I've had that happen. So just kind of keep an eye on it. If you do notice something, it could be that. Let me know if you have a problem and I can talk to you about it. Okay, so we're going to put it on my face, and then I'm going to talk about the ingredients afterward, but I know most people want to see what it looks like applied. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm pretty sure you have to shake it, so go ahead and give it a good shake. And then they say to use actually 1/4 of a dropper. So if you're looking at it, it's about to there. And so I'm going to put 1/4 of that in my hand. That's about that much. Okay, so the first thing before you even apply it, one of the questions on their website says, do you need to apply skincare underneath? So they say we recommend applying the product to freshly cleaned skin. The formula is powered by active levels of skincare ingredients which provide excellent hydration. If your skin is extremely dry, try using a lightweight serum or oil underneath. So what I have done is I have just rinsed it with water, then I used a toner and a lightweight serum. So perfect. Okay, and then also on their website it says, how can I apply it? So they say to use your fingers, but other customers have enjoyed using a sponge or brush. So it's really up to you, but this is definitely meant to be applied with your hands. So I'm gonna just take it and kind of start rubbing it through my hands and then onto my face. And you do notice that you get more coverage than kind of you're expecting, well, more than I'm expecting. And it goes on, I would say light, kind of the shade that I got. But if you give it a second, I have noticed that it kind of darkens up. So that's what I was saying with the shade range. It's very tricky to find your correct shade range. And I just like to rub it in, make sure I've gotten the corners blended out, or the edges. These aren't corners. So one thing that is important to see is if it can build up a little. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit more and just do little drops on my finger and kind of go into the areas that I think maybe I'd like a little bit more coverage, which would be my under eye. I have a blemish right there and some dark spots up on my forehead. Okay guys, so we can tell that it is very glowy, and of course I did say that I got the wrong shade. This is really going to be my shade for the winter, not for the summertime, and you can tell just the difference. I look very washed out, I look a bit ashy. It's not ideal, but we are going to be able to fix it. And first off, I'm going to wait about 5 minutes and then come back and see what it looks like, because the last time I wore it, it did kind of darken, which is why I say the shade range is kind of a tricky thing to figure out. So I'm gonna let it sit for about 5 minutes, then I'll come back and let you guys see. Okay, 5 minutes down, I'm gonna insert pictures of the before 5 minutes and the after, just so we can get a really close look at what it looks like. Okay, so looking at the pictures, I don't see a huge difference in the color. So maybe it's one of those things that last time I wore it, maybe later in the day I noticed that it got a little bit darker, or maybe I was crazy, but it doesn't look like it's changed that much. So that is something to keep in mind. It goes on the same color as it appears throughout the day. To me, it seems. Okay, and it does have a nice glow to it. I've heard other people say that it is so dewy, which yes, it is dewy. Like, look at this when I move. But in person, it kind of catches the light in the right way. And I would recommend using some powder in spots that you don't want to look super shiny. But I think overall, it's actually pretty nice. And we'll see how it goes throughout the day and see if it kind of maintains its shine or mattifies a little. We'll see. Okay, so I'm gonna go and finish the rest of my makeup off camera. Okay, so we're back. I'm gonna go through what I have on my face really quickly, and I will link everything below if you're interested in it. Okay, so first off, I used the ILIA. This is called the True Skin Serum Concealer. I don't love this one. I actually don't ever use it because it goes on really minimally and disappears very quickly. But I tried it because it's ILIA, so we'll see how it goes. And I pretty much just did it under my eyes and maybe a few blemishes. Next, I kind of concealed a little bit more with this Makeup Forever. This is the Matte Velvet Skin. And I typically just do it on my eyelids because I have a lot of discoloration there. So that's kind of what I did for that. Next up, I used the Pure X RawBeauty Kristi, and I used the color B as eyeliner, and then this Golden Ticket as kind of the shimmer all over shade, which was really fun. And then I used the ColourPop Freckle Pen, which gave me the cutest little freckles, and it's basically like taking my discoloration and making them something fun and pretty. And then for my eyes, the Brow Gal, I'm trying to use it up. If you've seen any other videos, I'm using it up. And then my new favorite tubing mascara from e.l.f., which is the Smudge Proof Mascara. And that is what's on my face. Oh, and I totally forgot to mention that I actually set the face and kind of bronzed it up with this e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder. So I thought that would kind of kill two birds with one stone. Set it a little bit. I still am super glowy, and also give me a little bit more bronzed look so I match my shoulders and body. So that is what's on my face. And then I'm going to just wear it throughout the day. It is about 10 o'clock right now in the morning. And I probably need to take it off at around 5. So we'll get about 7 hours in, and then I will come back with my thoughts on it. So stick around. Hi guys, I'm back. It's just a few hours in, 2.5 hours in, and I just wanted to pop in because I've noticed that I've kind of been scratching my face a little, not in any way that's unusual, but just that I've kind of caught myself doing it. And then when I went and looked at my face to see what it looked like, do you see that redness right there? This is one area where I had scratched it. I don't mean scratch, I mean like tapping it. Because I am quite aware of the product on my face. It did not set down at all. Even the powder, like the bronzing powder, didn't set it. So like right here, I can feel everything. It feels like if I hug somebody, it's just gonna like come off on their clothes or wherever. And yeah, so like right there, I can see the coverage has kind of just gone away just from me touching it. My under eye area doesn't look great. I think that's more the concealer. That concealer just is kind of a waste of money, waste of $30 if you ask me. But forehead looks really good. But it's really everywhere else that I just feel very uncomfortable right here. Like it just feels like it's gonna come off, and it has proven that it did. So that's that. The freckles look really cute, and I'm gonna keep wearing it, and then I will check in at the end of the day. Okay, final check-in, and I would say that it hasn't changed since about 12:30, so it is 5 now. It's been about 7 hours, and it's kind of the same. If anything, it's just the concealer here, which is the one that I don't like. That kind of just, it doesn't look great. It's really not worth the $30 or whatever it cost, and yeah. But everything else kind of looks the same. You can still see I have quite a nice glow. The powder made it a little tanner, but I still have the wrong color choice for the Super Skin Serum Tint. Wow, say that 3 times fast. So the color just don't go off of that. But overall, I think it's nice. I don't think it's worth $46 or $48, mainly because I felt the whole day that I couldn't touch my face. It still feels very tacky. It doesn't feel like an oil, where by this time in the day, if you had an oil on your face, like a normal oil, it would have kind of sunken into your skin a bit more. This just feels like it's sitting on my skin. So I don't love it. I think there are a lot of great options out there that kind of do the exact same thing as this. And while this one says it has a lot of skin conditioning properties and it's more like a skincare than a makeup, I think there are quite a few out there that are just as good. So the two that come to mind that would be similar to this are the Josie Maran. This is the Argan Daily Moisturizer SPF 47, Protect and Perfect, and then the Drunk Elephant Umber Tint. Now the problem with that is these are the only shades of each of them, whereas obviously the ILIA one has 18 shades. So you do have quite a bit of a difference, but I feel like the way that the ILIA performed was more like a tinted sunscreen to me than a makeup. I didn't get coverage from it that duplicated that of tinted moisturizers, but I didn't get kind of the benefits of what I consider like a tinted moisturizer, like one of these two. So even this one, while it is super dewy and your face is glowy all day, by this point in the day, it would have set a little bit. And I say set, but I don't really mean set. It would just be not as movable. And I love it because it's sunscreen and you can just reapply it if you need to, and you also get a little bit of coverage. But that said, again, only one shade. This one has some like crazy, this one goes darker rather than lighter, and it's kind of almost like an orangish tint. It's not my favorite shade at all, but it is an option, and that will give you the most dewy, like only use it in the winter. Otherwise, you're gonna be like glowing from space. So I think the pros of this one is that it is really beautifully made. The formula is incredible. I would say every ingredient in it is safe and beneficial to your skin. It also gives you a super dewy complexion. I would use this more in the winter. This is not good for me in the summer. I have normal skin, and even in the winter when it verges on dry, this would probably be too much just because it would be coming off and I feel like a little sticky from it. The cons of this are that it's really, I think, a bit overpriced. I mean, you are paying for the ingredients, but at the same time, you can get some other products like what I mentioned for a little bit less, and you're gonna get more SPF coverage. The other main problem that I see with this is the shade range is really tricky. I don't know what it is. I had a hard time because my face is lighter and my body is a bit darker. But that said, I do feel like the color that I got, and I spent a lot of time trying to get it, I don't think I even mentioned it. Oh my God. I got Sheila ST8, Shella. It just doesn't seem to be the same as what is shown online. And then when I put it on my face or on my hand, even to swatch it, it just didn't translate the same. So what's hard about it during this time, the pandemic time, is we can't go into a Sephora and swatch it. We can go in, they can swatch it on their arm, but they can't put it on you and you can't put it on yourself. So it's a really tricky thing, but at the same time, ILIA has been really great. They have been working with people to get the right shade, so definitely talk to them before you buy it and see if you can find a way even to go in and swatch it against your skin that's better than maybe just guessing like what I did. So anyway, I hope that was helpful. This was a pretty useful thing for me. I will probably do a wear test again once the weather is cooler, because I think that would be super beneficial, kind of like comparing it from summer use to winter use. At least for me, I have a whole different range of makeup items that I wear in the winter versus in the summer. And this, just not gonna be one of them. I think only if you really truly love this kind of thing, if you're on the fence about it, probably hold off. There are other ones out there, and yeah. Don't be afraid to go against the grain, because everyone's saying they love it, and I think there's better out there. I will see you in the next video, but please don't forget to like this video, subscribe, comment below with how you liked it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!